Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Jason. Uh, I just retired from the military in 2022, and this channel is all about helping other veterans out, helping veterans' families out, trying to mitigate some of the struggles that you're about to go through if you're transitioning. If you're already transitioned out, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. Um, it's basically stuff that they don't really tell you as you're transitioning, when you're going through the process, whether you do the regular Army transition process or you go to a special transition program, either outside of the Army or through special operations. They have some transition programs as well. So that's what this channel is all about. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about my transition from the military, things I wish I would have known, and things that I struggled with, and just kind of how the overall process went. So this might be a couple videos, but I want to make sure I get it all out there because some of you guys are going to go through the exact same process that I did. Some of you guys are going to go through similar processes, and it's just good to see from the other side, right? So somebody went through it and they're okay. I'm alive, right? um, but it's a struggle. So, and I want to make sure that's clear. This is not an easy thing, and I'm sure if you're already going through the transition process, you know that everybody keeps saying, "Oh man, it's a struggle," and it's rough getting out of the military. So, anyways, um, so my story. So I was in 18 years, and I was coming up for the E9 board, and the Army had just changed the way the promotions worked. So when the list came out, I was pretty low on the list, and I decided to pull my reserve and retire. Um, I had plenty of time. I figured, 2 years is plenty of time. I was in a position where I was able to basically do all the retirement stuff that I needed. So I was in a very good spot. I was set up for success from the beginning. I eventually became an XS E8 in the schoolhouse position. So, I had time to do what I needed to do. So anyways, pulled my reserve, getting ready to start figuring it out, right? Hey man, retiring, what's the first step? I don't know. I had ran into another soldier at JFK Special Warfare Center who was also at the schoolhouse, and he was piloting a new transition program. And I think they called it Project Janus. That's what it was called. And I'll link that dude's info um, below, and I'll link everything I'm talking about below so that you guys can kind of start getting your you know getting a heads up. Anyways, so I met this guy. He told me about this program, Project Janus. I'm all about help. He's all about helping people retire. I think he's getting ready to major in finance, or he's majoring in finance. But his whole thing is he wants to help soldiers too. He got wounded. They were going to medically discharge him, but they stuck him around, and he's going to help soldiers. So I was like, yeah, man, I'll go through whatever. And he's like, well, have you heard of the Honor Foundation? And I was like, no. So they had a 3-day program from the Honor Foundation. The normal program is 2 months. This was just a 3-day kind of like a trial run. And so the Honor Foundation is started by Navy SEALs, and it's open to all special operations now, enablers and everything. If you're within SOCOM command, you can go. So anyways, I go to this 3-day program. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot. They kind of bombard you with a little bit of everything of what the full program offers. And I was so impressed. They were the most professional. It was the most professional thing I've ever seen attached to the military, bar none. And I'm not I'm not being paid to say this. Like, it was seriously the most professional thing I've ever seen. We did try to figure out your Clifton strengths. I think it's Clifton strengths. And you had to write stories and things like that, and tell your story. And it was just a really rewarding. It was such a profound experience after just 3 days that I was like, well, man, I am definitely going to do the full program. So So I did that, kept doing the more retirement stuff. I'm like, hey man, I need to start knocking out some VA appointments. The same guy that told me about Project Janus told me to, hey man, you better lock in life insurance. That's something I wish I would have known. Life insurance. If you're in the military and you're far away from getting out, get freaking life insurance, because the second you start claiming stuff, the second you start getting diagnoses, your ability to get life insurance goes down dramatically. And if you get, luckily, if you get out and you can't get life insurance, you can get VGLI, but it's just not it's not good. It's like $400,000, and it's very expensive, and it only goes up every year. So if you can, just, like, stop the video, get on and get some life insurance. Go through AFMA or Navy Mutual. Those are the two that I was recommended, because they are essentially a fiduciary, which, they're not, the guys you talk to aren't paid on commission. They're really trying to help you out. So if you can get in before you start getting everything diagnosed, do it, because your rate's going to be super low. Lock in a 30-year term life insurance or whole life or whatever. I'm not an expert on it. Find an expert on it, but definitely get life insurance. Okay. So he told me about life insurance. And then I found another transition program he told me about. It's called, what is it called? Moving from we to me. And it was another program that, talking the transition process of going from we, the Army, to me, now it's just you. And it was okay. I don't want to trash anything that's trying to be helpful for veterans, but compared to the Honor Foundation, there was no comparison. Like, I was supremely disappointed. I thought I was going to learn more about myself. The Honor Foundation kind of shined the light in the dark corners, saying, hey man, like, this is about to be a really difficult ordeal you're going through. And so when I went through that other program, I was like, oh man, all right, well, I need to do the Honor Foundation full program. So I did the full program. I'll let you guys go to the website linked below. You can check out what they offer if you're in special operations. Again, if you're regular Army, there's not too much that I know about. I do know one program called Dartmouth. It's at Dartmouth, which is super fancy. You can put it on your resume. It's called the Next Step program, and that is badass. Anybody can go that's a veteran. You don't have to be special operations. A lot of the people I saw there were either special operations or officers. I just think that not too many people know about it, but it's at Dartmouth. You have to use your GI Bill to pay for it, or you can pay out of pocket. It's a 2-week crash course MBA. So it's taught by the MBA faculty. Each day is another class. So you kind of get you just get a really down and dirty crash course about business. It's called the Next Step Transition to Business program. They give you the acumen that you need when you start doing your interviews. So that's something that regular Army guys can go to that not a lot of people know about. It's very selective. It's only veterans and elite athletes. So you're going to be paired with Olympians, professional sports, professional sports players and everything like that. And it's actually at the Dartmouth campus. When I did it, it was online because COVID, everything was online in COVID. So I did the online one, but you go to the campus and it's awesome. It's a great experience. You learn a lot about yourself. It's more business focused. And each one of these things that I'm telling you about, they teach you about resumes. They teach you about job interviews. They teach you about, what to expect. They teach you about yourself. There's some kind of test you're taking that, you're finding out your needs and your wants and everything. So they're all good programs. Some are better than others. I can't thank Honor Foundation enough for what they helped me with. All right, so go through that program, go through the Dartmouth program, start my VA process. I get my VA stuff knocked out, and I have a job lined up. One thing that like I said, these programs, they hook you up. They teach you how to speak. They teach you how to interview well. You go through mock boards, and they soup up your resume, and they help you start flipping your script about military experience versus what the civilian world wants to see on your resume. They don't care you were in, Bravo Company 28 Cav or whatever, you were a squad leader of this. They want to know what that actually translates to in civilian world. I was not a fan of, like, I knew some people that would take their resume and they would change every single thing to a civilian word, which I didn't agree with. But there are ways to tweak your resume so that it doesn't sound so repetitive and crazy. Because when a civilian hiring manager looks at your resume and he sees, this position, squad leader, team leader, squad leader, platoon leader, first sergeant, whatever, and it's all spread out between, everything else, and you're kind of trying to put bullets, your best bullets from your whole entire career, you're trying to put those on your resume just to see what happens, right? It's a whole magical thing. But anyways, they hooked up my resume. Dartmouth looked at my resume. Special Operations Honor Foundation looked at my resume. Green Beret Foundation looked at my resume. Multiple people in industry looked at my resume. My resume was tight. And I was trying to get into sales because I thought that sales would be a good option for me, because when I was in the military, I was in civil affairs the latter half of my career. And essentially we sold projects and programs in foreign countries. That's very, very, don't hate me if you're a CA guy, but I'm just trying to breeze through that. But anyways, I thought it was going to be a good idea. I got a job at, which is an IT solutions company, as a business development manager. I was not in charge of anybody. I was a business development guy. They sold it as a strategic position, and I accepted it because I'm all about strategery, and I wanted to, use my skills that I've learned in the Army of talking to people and building relationships. That job turned out to be a giant. I actually was double dipping for a little bit because I was on terminal leave thanks to COVID. I had a ton of leave, so I took terminal leave and I started my job and they put me in this extended train up program. They were all about veterans, or at least they said they were. And it turned out that the veterans program was just more of an after school thing. They didn't really have the stuff for you. And I'll get into that more in the next video, but it just wasn't right. So anyways, ended up leaving that job, but I liked IT. So I switched over to, I'm going to be an IT guy. I was IT at the beginning of my military career. I can easily, just study up. YouTube's got all the resources you need. Study up, get my CompTIA certs and see what happens. Well, that ends up being a dead end because in order for me to start, I wanted to get into cybersecurity. In order for you to get into cybersecurity, you need 3 to 5 years of IT experience. Well, I have 3 kids and they're all toddlers. So that's not feasible. I can't do it. I would have to take a job, a full-time job, working more hours, getting less pay than my current job now, which is a part-time job. So that was not going to happen. So I had an epiphany about what I wanted to do. I realized that I need to leverage my military experience, which in civil affairs, a lot of it is emergency management and program management and things like that. So, I was like, hey, I'm going to pull this thread and see what happens. So that's the thread I'm on now, emergency management thread. This is 2 years now of trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And like I said, those transition programs help you with this. They help you with your skills and everything to help you identify what you want to be when you grow up. And I've already changed my career path and job at least 3 times. I'll say 3 major times. There's been little minor ones, but 3 major times. It was going to be sales. I'm going to be rich. And then it's going to be IT. I'm going to be a cyber nerd and do hacking because everybody wants to be a hacker. And then now it's emergency management. So that's where I'm at. I'm happy with my path. I'm locked in. I'm focused, but no full-time job yet. So I just got accepted into a master's program, and we'll see what happens. So very down and dirty. One cut. I'm not going to edit any of this because I want it to be genuine. And not that the last video wasn't genuine. That was my first video. This is the second one. But I just kind of want you to see the thought processes, right? Because if you're going to be along with me on this journey, you're going to you're going to understand how I think as we go, right? So this is just video one, just a real brief down and dirty. I'm already at 15 minutes. And then in the next video, I'll talk about a lot more of the struggles, because I didn't mention anything about mental health. Like, I'll talk all about that stuff coming up, because there's some big things for that. If you're still here at the end of the video, you're definitely going to want to see those. And in fact, those videos might get seen before any of these other ones, and that's okay. You know, like I said, my goal here is to help veterans and their families. So I'll get into more of that struggle stuff on the next go around. And hope you guys are having a great day, evening, wherever you're watching this from. Thanks for sticking around. If you're still at the end, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys, later.